Welcome back to Faculty Spotlights of the College of Professional Psychology. I'm Dr. Anna Belmonte, the Division Chair for Forensic Psychology here at the Chicago School. I'm joined today by Dr. Shannon Wasley, our Director of Clinical Training for our Southern California Department. Thanks so much for joining me, Dr. Wasley.
Thank you for having me. Excited to talk to you today.
Awesome. Well, let's start off with kind of a background question. Can you share a little bit about your background and what brought you to the Chicago School?
Absolutely. It's a little bit of a two-part answer because I feel I'm institutionalized at this university. So I started as an applicant. I had been an emergency medical technician for 20 years. I was seeing people on some of their worst days. I was learning more and more about that. Also, being part of a lot of crime scenes, was learning more and more about the perpetration of crime, the outcome of crime, the families, the victims. So I really started going back to thinking, if I go to grad school, maybe psychology is the way I want to go. I want to learn more about what happens with all of this. And even survivors, and violence is not just crime. It can be a car accident. It can be an
Mhm,
earthquake. You go through a
mhm.
violent experience. So I wanted to learn more about that. So I started looking into programs, and lo and behold, this forensic psychology phenomenon came onto my radar, and I couldn't let it go. I started here as a student, graduated from the forensic ID program, and through my time there, had so many amazing, eye-opening, wonderful experiences, mentors, professors, practicums, internships. So by the time I got to the end of it, I wanted to give it back to somebody else. I wanted to keep this momentum going and get everybody that I could possibly involved in this. So I started teaching as an adjunct, and that's what brought me into more of the employment side. And then I was an associate director of clinical training. I've been the campus director of training, and now I'm kind of back at home. I feel I'm like back at home in my forensic world and the director of clinical training for the forensics department. And it's just been that kind of evolution that I've really enjoyed. But that's really I came for the education and I stayed because of the people and the experiences.
That's awesome. And so kind of with that, can you tell us a little bit about what areas of teaching, research, or practice that you're most passionate about right now?
Absolutely. It seems like the obvious answer as a director of clinical training, that training is my passion, but it really is. But what I really, really love about training is watching these students who come from a classroom. Some of them have a lot of experience, some of them have none. They come out of the classroom and we put them in practicums and internships, and they evolve and they learn. And they are applying new research and new technology to what they're doing with their clients every day. Things that sometimes even scare me, but I embrace it with them. But it's so interesting to be able to watch even the field evolve
Mhm.
through our students and what they bring back and say, wait, I use this technique today. And we all say, wait a minute, tell us more. And then we learn from the sites what they're doing in real time. So that's my passion, is just, and really watching those students go from first day to walking that stage to getting their degree, and the confidence and skills they build over time, it's amazing. And then they get to go out in the field, and I still am in touch with many of them who tell me where they're working and what they're currently doing for our community. I love that.
I agree
So,
that life cycle that you were even saying about how you ended up at the Chicago School and stayed at the Chicago School, this life cycle that we see students over the course of is so rewarding and exciting for us and helps us even grow as professionals as well.
yes. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so how do you see your work impacting students and the community?
I think, I've learned through, my colleagues and from my former mentors that being student focused really helps the student. And I really advocate for that. And so one of the things that I think is valuable to them is that I really am on their side while holding to policy. And that sometimes
Mhm,
doesn't interact well, but because I understand that, but it's also what we need to do to help them become the best clinicians they can
mhm,
from the education they have with us and then their experience in the field. So that's one way. Also, I get to hear the feedback from the sites on how these students are doing with their clients, how they're impacting the community in real time every year, every day with various, with all kinds of diversity. And it really just, that's what I think I give back, is that I just kind of open the door for them and let them go. I'm a small cog in it, but when I get to open that door into the field, I think it really impacts the community, the university,
mhm.
and the students.
Yeah, I agree. The training of students is, that's how we give back to everything by kind of repopulating the field, if you will.
Yeah. Great word. Yes.
So in your opinion, especially, given your lens as an alum also, but what do you think makes our program unique and especially valuable for students?
So, understanding we're not the only applied school out there, but being an applied school, I think really
Mm.
has its advantages. You are not just going to get classroom training, you're going to be out there doing the work. You're going to take everything your professors are giving you and you're going to put it in front of a client. And I think that's
Mhm,
really special. That's one of the first things. The second thing that I think is really important about us is we're very hands on. Our
mhm,
students have so many resources that they can take advantage of, from career services to the faculty who's working live in the field to our student support team. Everybody here has their niches and they're really, really great at them. And I
mhm,
think we can provide that. We put a lot of hand holding in dissertation, which
mhm.
I've heard from slightly jealous people saying, I never had this, but we do. And I love that. So I think our students, what I would want them to know, especially about this program, is that we really do wrap around them as a
Mhm,
department too. And I'm talking about the forensic department especially, but I don't work in a silo. I work with the professors. I work with the department
mhm.
chair. I work with you. I work with the deans. I work with whomever I need to get the best outcome for a student that we possibly can. And I don't know that every university goes that extra mile. So I would say that's where we are.
Agreed. Awesome. All right. So, lastly, what advice would you give a current student or somebody who's interested in pursuing this program or our field? What advice would you give them about their future?
So for current students, I always try to encourage them to keep an open mind and be open to
Hmm.
the productive frustration that comes with growth in a graduate program and learning. If this is the field you want to be in, then open yourself up to it and let the experiences flow in, because if I hadn't done this route, I wouldn't have had the experiences I've had. I would say to a prospective student, hit that submit button on the application. You don't know what's on the other side. And I can
Hmm.
tell you it's a big world that will give you all kinds of things. And you can decrease it as you get through and figure out what you want to do and hone in on your skills and who you are. But you are going to, it's just an amazing world. And we've got
Hmm.
amazing people here. And the other part of that is use your resources, students.
Hmm.
Please, please reach out to us. Don't be shy. We are all here for you. So ask the questions, follow up if something piques your interest and you don't know
Hmm.
if you should. Email that professor, email that DCT, email that person and say, why did you do that? And what is this about? And you're going to
Hmm.
get a lot of engagement that way.
Yeah, and take the next step that you're ready for, both our current students and prospective students. There's so much that our school has to offer, but the world has to offer too. And so, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Wasley, for spending some time with me and answering questions.
Of course. Thank you.